everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Deanna and you're watching Orchid, and I'm just having a relax here on my Max Relax chair with my coffee this morning, still in my PJs, and yeah, my cattleyas have been up here on this upstairs deck for about a month now, so I just want to show them to you quickly, and thought we'd deal with one of the cattleyas as well in this video today. But in the meantime, I've also moved my oncidiums up here just because I decided that the back deck is just not getting enough light this summer. So yeah, apparently that's what I'm going to be doing from now on, moving my orchid collection from one side of the house to another twice a year. But anyway, I think the results up here are pretty good. So yeah, that chair is just so comfy, so lovely relaxing up here in the morning. But yeah, let's just have a quick look. But these guys have only been up here for a few weeks, and already, you see that? And the little flower spike in there. So a lot of these bulbs, these growths are reaching maturity now, so I'm very hopeful. So again, like the cattleyas, these oncidiums were like growing their growths and not developing any spikes. Like, I'm really sad this guy just developed that massive bulb at the front there and it didn't flower, just started bringing out this new growth. And I mean, that took like 8 months to develop. So yeah, it's a bit sad that I didn't get to see it flower this time around. But anyway, I'm very hopeful that this is a better spot now for the light for the next few months. So the cattleyas, are responding very well. You can see this guy's got this sheath and some buds developing in there, which is amazing. I've got sheaths finally. Look at this one. See a little sheath developing in there. Got this big sheath here. No sheaths yet on this one, but again, I'm very hopeful. That's one of the new growths there, and there's a couple more down the bottom for the Copper Queen. This is the one that had the rotten bulbs at the back, so I've cut off the few back bulbs there, and yeah, it's doing okay. So yeah, overall they're doing really well. Cattleya purpurata, which you know I've been struggling with it post repotting, is developing these beautiful roots, which I'm very, very pleased to see, because you can see how shriveled these canes are. They were actually round and plump without a wrinkle in sight when I repotted them. But yeah, it really needed the repotting, so there's no real way around it. But you can see these growths didn't end up finishing maturing, and they certainly didn't develop sheaths. So yeah, but that's okay. These roots are pretty impressive, and there's lots of them poking down into the media now. So yeah, I'm really, see those roots there, so I'm really happy, and I think it's gonna do okay. And my Owanagara apple blossom, which had no root system, is doing really well, except for the fact that I did the world's most stupid repotting on it. Look, so that's the new growth that's come out, and beautiful roots, not in the pot. So that's a fail on my part, and I certainly don't want to disturb it and put it into another pot. So I'm still deciding, but I'll probably place this pot into a bigger pot and just fill around with bark, just to minimize the trauma. But you can see, like, even trying to put it back into this decorative container, I'm risking damaging those roots. So yeah, silly me. Oh well, happens sometimes. But what we are going to deal with is this Cattleya. So this is Cattleya intermedia, and you can see the variety there. But sorry, I can't see very well because of the glare on the screen, but hopefully you guys can see. But we've got some scale on this plant. You see that? And so these are the common spots that the scale usually appears, but you've got to sort of check the old flower spikes and, you know, the little crevices in there, and they'll sort of tuck themselves behind the new eyes and eat away at that area as well. But yeah, always check like the underside of the leaves. You can see some more scale there. So they look like little fluffy, wispy cotton bits. They look quite similar to mealybugs, but mealybugs you'll find look like a bit fluffier and rounder, whereas I find the scale looks more like maybe like desiccated coconut. So what we're looking at with the white fluffy scale is actually the males. And then when you get like, I'll see if I can find a female one, but I'm sure you guys have also seen this sort of thing, which is actually the female scale, and they sort of build this protective coating and lay their eggs. So underneath here is actually all their eggs. So yeah, you can scrape that off, but I'll show you how I deal with it. It's a little bit unconventional, but we'll go downstairs and yeah, we'll try and clean up this Cattleya. So I guess the ideal thing to do would be to unpot these guys and check around here, because with bad infestations you can often get them in the media and underneath, you know, along the rhizome and stuff. But I think that this is more isolated to the top, and I'm not really keen to unpot this guy, so I think we can just try and deal with it. The other thing to take note is that when you shift around, you know, the female scale, it moves the eggs around, so every couple of weeks you kind of have to recheck it, and you'll probably get the scale coming back every couple of weeks until you've completely eradicated it. So yeah, that's just their life cycle. Just like any pest, you got to treat a few times. Okay, so I generally use rubbing alcohol for treating scale, especially for spot treatments. There are so many different ways, and I do find anyway that the scale infestations I've had have always been on plants that are a little bit weak, like they're just struggling a little bit for whatever reason. Their leaves aren't protecting themselves as they should. I do find scale loves cattleyas, so what I use is rubbing alcohol, and it is isopropyl alcohol. I wouldn't use any other type of alcohol, and rubbing alcohol is usually 70%. So I use this. I also use these. I use these a lot because I can get my hands on it pretty easily, but I'm pretty sure you can just buy them from the pharmacy. But they're little swabs in individual packs. It's 70% isopropyl alcohol. I wouldn't use anything stronger than that. And I've got some hydrogen peroxide as well as a spray, but I don't always have to use that. Now I've got a little tool that I use, which is probably the unconventional part, but this is one of those dentist's hooks, right? And I find it super useful. So you have to be careful with it. Obviously it's sharp, so you don't want to like actually damage the tissue, but I find it really helpful for getting into those tight spots like in between the leaf joints, and especially like I was saying, you know, they can tuck them, the scale can tuck itself behind like the eyes of new growths, so I find this super helpful for getting in there. So what I do so what we're going to do first is use these swabs, and I'm actually going to rub down the plant with it. So get all those little cottony guys. So I do that first. Okay. Equally as good is just to use this alcohol and soak some cotton pads and rub it. So I'm going to do that first, and then once I've gotten all the little male bugs off, I'll show you what I do with this thing. So you can sort of see that there's scale in between there that I wasn't able to get with the alcohol. So I just kind of clean it out with this. You got to be quite gentle to make sure that you don't damage like the live tissue. You can see the scale sort of gets in between here as well, and I just gently scrape it out. It's oddly like really satisfying, kind of like squeezing a pimple or something. And then I'll just put some alcohol on this swab, and I'll gently do that in between. And also what I find these useful for is sort of getting, especially if you've got like quite wrinkly sort of pseudobulbs, just for getting into those little crevices in there. And by the same token, if you do have it like behind the eyes, I just sort of gently scrape it. And yeah, and then I'll go over it again with a bit of alcohol and clean in there. But yeah, that's kind of what I do, and I'll check the plant again in about a week and I'll do the same thing. Yeah, but everyone has different ways. I've seen a video where they actually use a toothbrush and alcohol and scrub the whole plant. Just be careful of new growths. I don't particularly like using the alcohol or anything in particular on new growths, so I tend to pick it off. But see, this new growth is actually quite healthy and the scale's not attacking it. So yeah, I find it does tend to be, you know, like the unhealthy bits of tissue that it finds. Obviously it's easier to sink its teeth into, so yeah, there's probably, you know, different ways, easier ways maybe, but I don't know, like I said, it's oddly satisfying getting into that scale. So yeah, I always forget the name. I think it's called like Boisduval scale. But yeah, I think that's the most common type, especially for the orchids, and it's really stubborn. So actually I think the main way to get rid of it is to have healthy plants, strong plants, because they just don't tend to get attacked. It's the weaker, stressed plants that always seem to have the pests. So yeah, but you always got to be quite vigilant. If you've got one infected plant in your collection, make sure you check your others. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe you got something little out of it. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more orchid videos. I hope you guys have a great week and happy growing until I see you next time. Bye!